Hello my lovely viewers. In today's video, we want to begin the journey of Chemistry Neco Practical 2026. As you can see on the board, 2026 Neco Titration Endpoint and Table. So we are going to determine the endpoint, and I will give you the table in which you are going to use for your Neco examination. Now, if you are watching on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, a complete video of this particular edition is uploaded on my YouTube channel. Look at Ojemai TV. Just go there and go and search for Neco 2026 Endpoint by Ojemai on YouTube. You're going to see the complete video there. Now, how do you determine the endpoint and probably the table? We are given the acid. The acid given is what? We are asked to dissolve 2.7 or what? H2SO4. This is the acid given. We are asked to dissolve what? 2.7 cm. We are asked to dissolve 2.7 cm cubed of what? Of H2SO4. In what? We are going to make 1 dm cubed of this acid. They will now use it and titrate against 4 grams of sodium hydroxide. These are the two things given. All right. You say we should dissolve 2.7 cm cubed of tetraoxosulfate. I say we have to make 1 dm cubed. That is, you are putting this concentrated acid in what? In 1000 mils of what? Of water, of distilled water. Do you understand? Then you measure or you weigh 4 grams of sodium hydroxide and still dissolve in what? In 1 dm cubed. That is, make 1 dm cubed of this solution. So 1 dm cubed of this 4 grams and 1 dm cubed of what? Of this 2.7 cm cubed of the concentrated acid. Are you following? Now you now use it and titrate. At the end, you get your endpoint. So we want to use the calculation aspect to determine the endpoint of these two substances. Firstly, the formula we are going to use to determine the endpoint is concentration of acid times volume of acid over concentration of base times volume of base is equals to mole ratio of acid over mole ratio of what? Of base. We are going to make volume of base the subject of formula. So we are going to make volume of acid because endpoint is what? Volume, average volume of acid. So volume of acid is equals to, we have different and we have 20 cm cubed of base, but the one we normally use in the laboratory is 25 cm cubed of base. So volume of base is already what? Is already given. All right. Now mole ratio of acid and base is what? We are going to look at our equation. Our equation is this acid H2SO4 will react with what? With sodium hydroxide. All of them are in aqueous form. Sodium hydroxide to produce what? To produce salt, a normal salt, Na2SO4 plus what? Plus water. This is the equation of the what? Of the reaction. Balance our equation here. Do you get that? So the mole ratio of acid to base is what? 1 is to what? Is to 2. Now going back here, we have our VB. VB is equals to what? 25. I told you that this 25 is what you have in your pipette. We have Na. N is what? What is the mole ratio of acid here? Is 1. NB is equals to, what is your mole ratio of base here? Look at 2. Mole ratio here. No, what is in front of here is 2. Now go to concentration of acid, Ca. What is your concentration of acid? We want to look at the concentration of acid. All right. Now this concentration of acid, they gave us 2.7 cm cubed of this. For you to get the concentration of acid, which is expressed in moles per dm cube, what do? Concentration of acid is given by this 2.7. You are asked to dissolve what? Make 1 dm cubed of it. 1 dm cubed is what? Divided by what? 1000. Multiplied by the molarity of this acid, which is what? Which is 18. We get the concentration. Alright? Now you might be wondering, how do we get our molarity? Molarity of 18. Let me just drive you small to the theoretical aspect of it. This molarity of this acid, we have, let me use this side. We have this tetraoxosulfate acid has a purity of what? 98%. 98% by weight. By weight. And has a density of what? This is purity, density of 1.84 grams per what? Per cm cubed. Molarity of it, molarity is given as purity multiplied by density. The density must be in mass, in grams. The density must be in grams. Here is cm cubed. Density must be in what? In grams over what? Molar mass. Over molar mass. And what is the molar mass of tetraoxosulfate acid? Now let's look at the purity first. Molarity is equals to molar mass. Molarity is equals to, what is the purity? Purity is what? 98%. We are going to convert this 98% into what? Into decimal. That is it means that this 98 means that 98% of the acid is pure and 2% of it is water and what? An impurity. All right. Now we want to convert this one, change this percentage. Now we have percentage 98 divided by what? 100 multiplied by what? Multiplied by density is in grams per cm cubed. We need to convert this gram per cm cubed to what? To grams, because everything we are doing here, we are looking at gram. We have different method of solving this, but let me 84 times what? 1000. We convert it into what? Into grams. At the end, we divide by our molar mass of this acid. Look at molar mass of this acid is what? Look at hydrogen is what? Hydrogen is 1. Hydrogen is 1. Atomic mass is 1 times 2. That is 2. Sulfur is what? This is H2SO4 is equals to, this one is what? This one is 2 plus sulfur is what? 32 plus oxygen is what? Oxygen atom is what? 4. 4 times oxygen has a relative atomic mass of what? Of 16. So 16 times 4 give what? 64. So at the end we have what? 98. So this molarity now will be equals to, if you divide this one by this one, give what? 0.98 times what? Times 1840 divided by what? 98. At the end, molarity will now have what? We have 18 point what? Move this one, we'll make it what? We'll just round it to what? To 18. That is where you get your this molarity, which is what? 18. Now going by that, Ca now is equals to, if you divide this one by this one, multiply by 18, you are going to have 0.0. But we approximate it to 3 decimal places, so 89 moles per dm cubed. We have gotten our what? Ca, which is what? Equals to 0.049. Now let's look at our Cb. Cb is equals to concentration of base is given. This one is given in grams. We are going to find the mole of this one. What is the mole of this one? Mole. Remember, mole is equals to what? Mass over what? Over molar mass. Are you following? Mole is equals to what? Mass is what? 4 grams. So 4 divided by, what is the molar mass of sodium? Okay, sodium is what? Is 23. We have 23 plus oxygen is what? 16 plus 1 will give us what? 16 plus 1 will give us 17. At the end we have what? 40. So mole now will be equals to what? 0.1. Do you get that? Now this 0.1 mole, look at 1 mole. Remember, concentration is given in moles per dm³, and we are asked to dissolve these 4 grams in what? In what? We have to make 1 dm³ of it. 1 dm³ is 1000 cm³. Do you get that? We say we should make 1 dm³ of this one. Make 1 dm³ of this one. So since it is like that, we are going to divide by what? Divide by 1 dm³. So if you divide this one by this one, you are going to have 0.1 mole per what? dm³. Do you get that? So our concentration of base is what? 0.1 mole per what? dm³. So here Cb is equals to what? 0.1. All right, let's make it to 2 decimal place or 3 decimal place like this one. Are you following? Are you following? Now let's go and apply our formula. Remember, our formula says that Va is equals to, what is your concentration of base? Is given at what? 0.100 multiplied by concentration, volume of base is what? 25 multiplied by, what is your mole ratio of acid? Mole ratio of acid is 1 divided by, what is the concentration of acid? Concentration of acid is what? 0.049 multiplied by, what is your mole ratio of base? Mole ratio of base is what? 2 multiplied by 2. Volume of acid now is equals to, if we multiply this one, we are going to have 25.51 cm³. This is our endpoint. So our endpoint for this Neco practical 2026 is what? Is 25.51. So as a teacher, if you want to go and prepare this solution, you have to be very careful, so that when you are doing your titration, your student should be able to arrive at, either 24. The endpoint should be what? Among 24, we have 25, 26. So if you have this range, you are in the line. If you have this range, you are there. So you can use 24, that 24.1, 24.2, 24.3, 24.4, or you use 25 or use 26. So whatever you use among this one is what? Is still in order. But calculation aspect give you the correct and accurate endpoint. So that our endpoint for this year 2026 Neco practical is what? Is 25.51. So you can use the range of this one. Now let me take you to the table. How do you prepare your table? Burette reading. Burette reading is what? In cm³. You have your rough titer. You have your first titer. You have your second titer. You have your third titer. All of them are in what? In cm³. Now here you have your what? You have your final reading. Indicate the volume of pipette at the top of your table. All right. Now, having done it, rough titer. Here your initial should be what? 0.00. It is when you begin your titration. All right. Now final reading. Put 26.00. At the end, we have 26.00. Okay. Now I want to get my endpoint to be 25 point something. Remember, in our calculation we have 25.15. I can make it 25 or 25.1. All right. So I'll now say here is what 0.00. Here I can say 25.1. 25.10. Here I have 25.10. Here I have 0.00. I have 25.00. 25.100. Here I have 25. 0.00. Here I have what 25.00, and here I have 25.100. Now this is how your table should look like. Remember the value of this your first, second, third title, they should vary by 0 minus 0.1 minus 0.1 or plus 0.1 and minus 0.2 or plus 0.2. This is how your values. It means that if that for each student, if you are preparing for each student, like for instance now, if the first student have 25.10, another one can have 25.20, okay, or it can have 20, like this one now can have 25.00. It can have this minus 30. So the range of this one should be what? Either minus 1 or plus 2. It means that it can also have, as it is here, it can have 24.90. Do you get that? So the range must be this side. So it should not be more than 0.1 in each of the students. All right. So the student, if you are preparing as a table for your student, the range should be either vary by what 0 minus 0.1 or plus 0.1 or minus 0.2 or what plus 0.2. Do you get that? So this is the end of our practical session. In our next video, we are going to, which has already been uploaded, is test of sort and probably predicted question that you are going to see in your word is 91% accurate. Have you watched my videos before? Videos on prediction of practicals? Go and watch now. Go and watch now. My predictions are always 91% accurate. 91. That is why you don't need to miss my update. All right. Go to hurry now to Ojemai YouTube channel, Ojemai TV on YouTube, to go and watch the complete set of video on Neco Practical 2026. And as you do that, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And remember to subscribe and follow for all my social media handles. Thank you very much, and God bless you.